Hey everyone, this is Chris from Midwest Coaster Fans. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. As many of you guys know, we were waiting on California to release the news on the park guidelines for reopening in California. I'm going to give you guys about 20 seconds or so to get onto this platform. I know it's only almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to talk about this for a few minutes here and get your input on a lot of different things here. I'm waiting on Facebook to send an alert. For some reason, that's been delayed for a lot of you guys. Uh, oh, we've got 4 live viewers. So, welcome. California's Governor Newsom, just released the guidelines for the California park reopening guidelines. So, we're going to go over all of that and more. This was released here recently over the last couple hours. I wanted to give everybody kind of a chance because I know a lot of you guys probably work, so you guys come home late afternoon. So, if you're watching this now, and it's later in the evening. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. Here, broadcasting this live from Orlando, not from the normal location in the Midwest. But let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and share some information. This is from the local media out in California. Like I said, welcome. So this is from KTLA. So we're going to go over a little bit of the park guidelines here. California will allow larger theme parks to reopen with modifications when their county is in the state's least restrictive yellow tier, likely putting theme parks at least weeks and potentially months away from resuming operations. The announcement was made Tuesday by California Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mark Galley, who released the state's much anticipated reopening guidelines for theme parks during the COVID-19 pandemic after a delay earlier this month. When theme parks do not welcome back guests, larger ones such as Disneyland, Disney California Adventure, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios Hollywood, and Six Flags Magic Mountain will have to limit capacity to 25% and required advanced reservations, according to Galley. He said visitors will also have to wear face masks while in the park, except for when eating and drinking. Smaller amusement parks, meanwhile, can reopen with modifications in the orange tier, which is one step down from the yellow tier. They will also have capacity limits up to 25% or 500 guests, whichever is less. Wow. As well as reservation requirements. However, in the orange tier, only people from the county will be able to attend and only outdoor attractions can open. In Southern California, it's unlikely theme parks will open anytime soon. Orange and San Diego counties, homes to Disneyland Resort, Knott's Berry Farm, Legoland, and SeaWorld, will remain in red tier, which is the second most restrictive tier and indicates substantial risk of COVID-19 spread. In Los Angeles County, where Universal Studios Hollywood and Six Flags Magic Mountain are located, is still the most restrictive purple tier due to widespread risk of coronavirus transmission. But even 2 weeks ago, Governor Gavin Newsom cast doubt that the state's larger theme parks will be able to allow to resume operations in the near future. We don't anticipate in the immediate term of those larger theme parks reopening until we see more stability in terms of those data, Newsom said on October 7th. The new rules were unveiled as Disney officials, Orange County lawmakers, and most recently, unions representing Disneyland workers have increased pressure on the state to issue guidance for the alien sector, which has effectively been shut down since mid-March. Since early last month, officials have repeatedly insisted the state was going to close to an unveiling the guidance before Newsom's administration delayed the release on October 2nd. So, what do you guys think of that? What is your overall opinion on that? Like, that's kind of major because I know Disneyland was kind of fighting for that. So, if you remember correctly, Disneyland was fighting for reopening. And if many of you guys know, down in Florida, they've already proven that they're not spread centers. So, for Governor Newsom over in California to say certain things like the theme parks still can't reopen and that the smaller parks can only host 500 people or 25%, which one is less? I think that's kind of insane. Um, I understand. I understand why they're doing it, kind of, but at the same time, I think it goes along the lines of being a little too extreme per se. I'm trying to find video on this. Where I'm trying to find this video so you guys could actually watch it, and I'm gonna actually let you guys watch this. This is from the news program. This is going to be released from a program, ABC 10 News. So I'm going to go ahead and play this over here so you guys can kind of watch it, because some of you guys are visual learners. Some of you guys are, uh, you guys like to be read as I go along. So sorry for the background noise here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. You guys go ahead and watch this.
Expect theme parks in California to reopen anytime soon. Governor Gavin Newsom says he's in no hurry to issue those guidelines. Newsom compared large theme parks to small towns and says they won't open until there's more stability.
We're going to be led by a health first framework, and we're going to be stubborn about it. And that's our commitment. That's our resolve.
Newsom says he will continue to work with the amusement park industry, which has been waiting and struggling during this pandemic. Just this week, Disney announcing it was laying off 28,000 employees.
So there you have it from that news station. Let's go over here and see. That one's a minute and 49. So this is how California is releasing it.
Last week, on Monday, I put out this new dimmer actions that we're taking in the state of California and what we've done statewide. We talked about those counties that are on the monitoring list, 33 counties, and I'll give you an update on those county lists here in a moment. Again, focusing on indoor operations, on gyms and fitness centers, places of worship, still allowing activity to occur outdoors. Accordingly, issues of barber shops and personal care services. I want to just make personal clarification on the issue of personal services. This was the slide we put up a week ago relating to indoor activity. It was our intention to provide for barbershops and the likes to be able to do their work outdoors.
That's an old one. Sorry about that. But anyways, I'm going to go back to here. So many of you guys could definitely see what's going on with it. What's your opinion on that? Do you think the California is doing the right actions? And obviously, Florida's already proven that major parks that he calls so-called cities can still reopen in a safe manner. That's actually safer than people going to a grocery store, to Home Depot, places like that. And I don't agree with this because, California, like Florida, depends on a huge tourism market. So with Disneyland being closed in Anaheim, Knott's Berry Farms being closed in Anaheim, Legoland. I know SeaWorld opened up with guidelines, but they're only able to do so many people, and they're not able to open up their rides or attractions, which I think is kind of weird. Universal Studios Hollywood's really small. So, I mean, obviously guest capacity at 25% is not going to be as large as like guest capacity at Universal Studios Orlando or Islands of Adventure. So, and then we have, Magic Mountain and so forth. But look at all these jobs that this is affecting. If you guys remember the Disneyland or Disney layoffs, those layoffs, a lot of them were due to the fact of the state of California not allowing those parks to reopen. So a lot of those layoffs actually happened in California, and majority of them. And then you have the hotel workers, the restaurant workers, and so forth that aren't getting the type of business that they normally get due to venues being closed, because obviously baseball stadiums are not open, football stadiums, NBA arenas, concerts. The tourism market's taking a huge hit in California, and then you have this. But if you remember, if you look at the guidelines at the beginning, the ones that I read from KTLA, they're only allowing them to open smaller parks at 500 people or 25%, whichever is less. And then you have the fact of the matter is that they could open at a lower tier than the bigger parks, which the bigger parks have to open up at yellow instead of orange. The smaller parks could open up as orange. And then they're looking at guidelines of where they're only allowing people in the same county where these places are at, allowing them to go to the parks, which means that California is being extremely restrictive, and it's probably going to be months, months before we see anything changing on that. It's hard to say what the right thing to do is. That's what Intensity Thrill says. I agree on you on that, but at the same time, Florida parks have already proven that they're not spread centers. So for Governor Newsom of California to say parks are a high risk when you're letting people go to grocery stores, where you're letting people go to Home Depot, when you're letting people go to a variety of different places in California, but you're still saying that theme parks are a problem zone when theme parks have proven that they're not spread zones. And that is the reason why Disneyland and all of them have fought to reopen, because they have stricter guidelines in most of these places where people are shopping at and going at on a normal basis. But that's it for the breaking news on that. I want to appreciate you guys for joining me on this. Let me know what you think on the comments below. If I don't get to you on the live stream, I apologize, but I will be back on Facebook and also YouTube to respond to your comments later on if you guys have any. Don't forget to join us on our live show here at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Coaster Wars Outlaw Run versus Goliath at Six Flags Great America. Thanks again for joining, and have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.